Welcome back to the Donkey Vote Political Podcast. After 2 days in Parliament House, we are now back in our normal setting on Zoom. And today we are joined by Trung Luu, the member for the Western Metropolitan Region for the Liberal Party. Trung, thank you for joining us.
Thanks, Francis. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. For the audience out there, some of them may sadly not know who you are, as you were just a newly elected member to Parliament last year, I believe. So if you could give the audience a little bit of a description about you, just a brief description before we get into the questions, that would be awesome.
No worries. So obviously, my name is Trung Luu. I'm the new elected Liberal member for Western Metropolitan, and also the Parliamentary Secretary for Shadow Parliamentary Secretary for Multicultural Affairs, and also the Liberal Party Parliamentary Secretary as well. So my role is basically to assist John Pursuit, the leader, with the multicultural portfolio. He holds the Shadow Minister multicultural portfolio. So besides the Western electorates, look after my constituent in the West here, also assisting us into multicultural community as well, statewide. So that's the two roles I'm doing at the moment.
That's great. Yeah, so I believe you're the only Liberal, technically only Liberal member for the Western Metropolitan Region at the moment. On a technicality.
Yes.
Yeah.
Technicality, yes.
Yeah. All right then.
Unfortunately,
Yeah.
in the West, there hasn't been in the past hasn't been a very an opportunity to have many Liberal MPs out of West, but hopefully that will slowly change.
Yeah, hopefully. Even in Point Cook, maybe in the coming years, we could have a Liberal member here.
Well, you never know. People just need to understand what the Liberal values and how we represent the communities. We really can represent the communities. Then I think all the value lessons to Liberal and the family values that will in line quite dramatically as well.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, we'll get started now with our questions. So firstly, how was your high school life? Do you have any vivid memories that you would like to share?
High school was fantastic. My high school I went, because I grew up in the eastern suburb. I moved out to the west suburb 20 years ago, after I went into my professional working career. But during my school year, I grew up in the eastern suburb. I went to Blackburn High. It's a very quite recognised for the music school. But with me, I was always into sports. So high achievement sports, academics. So it was a very good memory lesson to high school throughout the whole from 7 to 12.
Do you have any specific vivid memories from high school, like any moments that you'd like to share?
Oh, that's a lot of moments. So I'm not too sure what you want to ask to listen to that. Like I said, I was very much it's a very recognised music school, but we also have a very good sports program. So I was basically to the sports mainly. So, I played soccer and cricket during my younger years. So in athletics, so we went through sport from regional to state representatives as well. Both in sport and athletics. So relation to high school academics is not a part of it, but relation to memories, got good friendship. Good groups of close friends as well. Mind you, when I grew up back in the 80s, late 80s, which is through high school. Out east, there wasn't much ethnicity, listen to the multiculturalism as we see nowadays with all the migrants coming in, especially in the West. We've got quite more multicultural. In the East, there wasn't. So I grew up very westernized culture in many ways. Bit diverse. Like my group when high school grew up was in a small group. We're close. We had 2 Italians, 2 Greeks, Yugoslavia, 2 Vietnamese, Sudanese in our group, and a couple of Australians. That's our small group. That's sport-wise. So we have a very diverse group of friends, close friends growing up. We play the same kind-minded thing, listen to sports and academics. So yeah, it's good vivid memories.
That's good as well, because for many of us, even on the Zoom as well, we're all from multicultural backgrounds. So
Yep.
I myself, I'm half Filipino, half Australian. And Tobias and Aiden, if you want to share your multicultural backgrounds
yeah,
with
you can go
Trung.
Tobias first.
Yeah, I'm from India, yeah. So yeah.
Yeah, and I'm from Malta.
Hey guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, now it's fantastic. Now we're very diverse, and especially out in the west here. But when I grew up in the east, there wasn't many different communities, large communities. Of course, there's scattered around. But when you go to school, you probably, for example, in my year, there probably about 4 or 5 Asians in my year.
Oh,
They gradually got a little bit more through senior years, but at the start, there were only a few. So that's was in my high school. So
yeah. Because
yeah, but now it's a bit different now, of course.
yeah, because this is going a little bit into the next question we're going to ask, but um a lot of the Asian students coming into a show came during the Vietnam War, I would assume. So
Yes.
yeah. Actually, if we on that note, we'll actually get on to our second question. So
Okay.
Tobias,
Yeah. How is your transition from the Vietnam War to Australia when you came in 1970s?
Yep. Yes. After the fall of Saigon in 1975, a lot of Vietnamese flee the country because it's no longer a democratic society. So my family, we left in early 1979 and arrived in Australia in June 79. We first arrived in Sydney, but then mum and dad tried to find work, and we travel from different states. Mum and dad moved around from state to state trying to find work, because back in those days, not speaking the English language and not having lived in Australia, it's a bit hard to find the right work. So we travelled from Sydney to Adelaide, and eventually down to Melbourne. And mum and dad actually finding work in Melbourne. We settled down in Melbourne. So that was basically my transition from Vietnam to Australia. So yes,
yeah. So you were born in Vietnam, weren't you?
yes.
Do you have any memories from when you were young? Back in Saigon, you're from Saigon, correct?
Yeah, a little bit down south, but right down south, further down south of Saigon, just right down the bottom of the coast. Vivid memory, because I left around 5 or 6, so vivid memory listen to where we live. But I do remember the journey, because when I travel by boat here, I remember the journey with the boat. Remember the refugee camp. We stayed in Malaysia. We really did that. So because between 5 and 6, you remember a bit more than when you're a bit younger. So do remember the journey. Whereas earlier than that, vivid memory lesson to start school early. I started kinder. I think when I was doing Vietnam, we just started prep in many way, and I went, yeah. So wasn't much because of the force I got on after that as well. So there wasn't much education for me prior to coming over here. But yeah, so just the journey I do remember at that age, yes.
Yeah, because I think a lot of Vietnamese Australians can remember that journey as well that they took coming from Vietnam to Australia. I know the member for Fowler in the federal politics, Dai Lee, also has a pretty similar
Yes.
story to you, Trung. I think
Yeah.
she spent a couple years in the Philippines as in a refugee camp,
Yep.
and then came to Australia. So I think also with a lot of more multicultural politicians coming in, especially with you and Dai, for example, your stories are really, really inspiring for a lot of multicultural kids such as us in our communities.
Yeah, I think Di and I are about the same vintage. I think Di's kind of just a bit after me around that time, but he's done still spend a little bit more time in the refugee camp. We're fortunate, I really stayed 6 months there. So he spent a bit more time there. But yes, yeah, Di and I, Mike, have very similar story. That's how journey was. Yep.
Yeah. All right then. We'll now move on to the third question. Aiden.
Yep. On the topic of transitions, how did you find yours between the police force and politics?
Oh, yes, all right. Now, just for those audience that knows, my background is this. I've been in the police force, trying to come to politics. Straight after uni, I joined the police force, basically trying to help the communities in that career transition from engineering to police. But being in police for a long period of time, you understand. I work in a place in a very community oriented career path as well. So I'm used to understand the various organisations assist the community, work in very crowded areas or highly populated area, for example, in low social economic area as well, where people need assistance. So I understand what people require. Where a diverse community, for example, I work in Yarra, it's apparently quite a long time, with Collingwood, Fitzroy, Richmond, and you understand various different organisations. You understand how to deal with the agencies. You understand what expectations and need the community want, especially. Also, with having said working in the low social economic area, I also work in Melbourne and areas of Ashburton in the east as well. So I understand a diverse need from our community. So transition from police to politics, dealing with people, when you deal with a range of people, some are a bit of a challenge, some are extraordinary, and some are quite very pleasant to deal with. So transition from police to politics to deal with same sort of in just different perspective, but it's still dealing with people.
Yeah.
Wasn't too bad for me because I understand the process. I also spent a bit of time, a couple of years as a councillor. So from police to politics, from local government to state government. So I had a transition in many ways, understand the process of government agencies and how politics work. So it helped me in a bit. So it wasn't a great shock in that aspect.
Yeah. Would you say you have any preference towards either occupation or?
It's different. Yeah. Police, you are able to help individual, you're able to help small group. Whereas in politics, local government or state government, you got a bigger platform. You can use your influence to help a wider groups. So that's the difference between the two. Preference-wise, I didn't ever thought I'll go into politics throughout my whole education, even to while I'm working at the police. I never actually considered politics. I never thought of politics. Never came into my mind. So preference-wise, there's chalk and cheese in many ways. You deal in different aspects of helping people. Just now, it's got a wider platform to do so. I think having an opportunity to help people individually, small groups, very close knit, for a long period of time now, I think I'm able to transition to a wider audience, this is very good in a way, because in many ways you want to help a wider community as well, and also with a multicultural community, especially in the West, expanding so much, you want to help a wider range as well, and as we use your influence to assist those people, our community, in a wider base as well. So in many ways, it has progress, in rightly so, in one way or another, from police to politics for me.
Yeah.
Very interesting there. I think you also did touch in that question there a little bit about diversity in the Western suburbs, and that's actually now our next question. So, Tobias.
Yeah.
Yes. You currently you're currently a representative in the Western Metro area in the Leadership Council, one of the most diverse areas in Australia. What does diversity mean to you, and do you think we should have more people from diverse backgrounds in Parliament?
Australia is made of relation to people where they from migrants background. Originally, Australians, so Australia's basically built up our economy, our country's built up on the backbones of people coming from elsewhere to Australia, where there's some from a Western culture, or nowadays from in Europe, Middle East, Asia. It's basically built up from migrants, excuse me, and refugees. So from people come from other countries here. So that's basically Australian. It's why it's very multicultural in many ways. Besides our indigenous owners of the Australia as well. So that's very fortunate. We're very fortunate to have a very broad group of people actually make up Australia. As in recent times, especially after World War II, you see the influx of people from Europe living there. Now, in recent decades, we've got people from Middle East and Asia. So our diversity is come all over the world. In the West, here we have that broad base present from Europe, Middle East, and Asia, and Africa as well. So, and our indigenous owners land here as well. So we got wise evenly spread lessons, not just one group of people. So when it's that diversity, we have all those. Out in the West, there's not over 200 languages spoken in the West itself. So not just small cohort. So that's a different type of language used in the West. So that you can see the different groups we represent in the West. What representation I see needs now, because we got so quick, rapid growth, listen to different community coming here. They need assistance. They need listen to informations, whether how to assimilate, how to get to work into our communities. They need information listen to the actual one thing's the law, the legal legislations, regulations, and our culture in many ways. They just need some guidance. They're sometimes bringing their own culture here. They need some guidance, listen to how Australians have been evolving over a couple of centuries wise. So they just need a bit of guidance there. And there's a representative lesson, a voice in many ways as well. Because community come here that not all communities actually speak up and put a hand up and say we need this assistance. And also those who want to put a hand up don't know how to put the hand up to seek assistance. So that's where it's important to have some sort of representative out of the West, present in diversity and very different cultures and different communities as well. I hope that answered that question. I'm not too sure I divert a bit into there.
Yeah, that was a great answer. Yeah. Also you touching on a bit about how there's so many language groups spoken in the Western suburbs. Like even I think Point Cook on the recent census that was taken where we're from actually is the most multicultural area in the whole suburb in the whole of Australia. So it is really diverse, the Western suburbs, you know.
Yep.
All different cultural groups are here. It's really amazing.
Yeah, so it's that's why I make the West is so unique in many ways. And it's a true representative of Australia in a small area over a small period of time. Australia's been over 200 years, different groups coming over here. There's a point we should point out. It's a recent suburb as well. Only in recent decades it's been developed and still developing in infrastructure wise and housing stuff. And yet got all the diverse group in small group areas. So you see how much it represents a good picture what Australia is really. So in this small area.
Exactly. Yeah, so we now get on to our fifth question for you, Trung. What made you specifically join the Liberal Party and run in the 2022 state election?
Okay. Like I mentioned earlier, my background is basically police. And in the police force, you try to be impartial, not involved in politics whatsoever. So I said that politics never came into my mind. And it doesn't matter what political party or whatever, you just represent people equally, and it doesn't matter where people come from, you represent them impartially and help who is in need. So that was my whole professional life. So when you ask me what made me join the Liberal Party, it's basically, I think, the value which drawn me to the Liberal Party. Most multicultural communities, we have good family network, good family value, and that just the upbringing. We've got very close knit, most, not to every communities. I think if you look, just have a quick look overseas, not even here, overseas, culture-wise, family values, large families, distant families, Europeans, Asians, and even Africans have very close network relation to family brotherhood in many ways. So family value that draw me to, you know, just Liberal has a good family values, wasn't that? Having been representing of the people for a long period of time and coming from fleeing from a communist country, freedom of speech, freedom of association, equal opportunity, which is the main three keys why we came to Australia. Yeah. And that's what the Liberal value represent. Mainly it's freedom of speech, individual freedom of speech, and also besides equal opportunity, also reward for efforts, not what you do, what you're earning, you get the right to enjoy it. That's that's part of Liberal value. Whereas other legal believe more communities, more of a group things, the collective. Whereas here, yes, we work for the community, but if you work hard, if you really dug down and put all the efforts in, Liberal value believe you have the right to enjoy what you work for, and other people, other governments can't take that away from you. That's what I believe. You work hard enough, it's yours, and it shouldn't take that what you earn to keep other people. Yes, we as a society we could contribute to community and stuff, but Liberal value believe in your freedom of speech, freedom of worship, another thing, but freedom of efforts, reward for efforts is the main key. If you work hard, you study hard, you're going to open a business, you have your right to earn and keep, enjoy the reward that you put your sweat and tear into. That's the Liberal value. Besides the big family value, which we truly believe, that's what drew me into the Liberal Party. So that's the difference between other political groups and the Liberal Party.
And what made you specifically run the 2022 election?
Well, I actually ran the 2018 elections.
Oh,
That's the first time I joined the Liberal Party. So I always believe you always start, you can't, no matter what you do in your life, you got to start at the bottom. You can't just break in and go, I want to be the leader. Just basically, you earn your keep. And I ran for one of the strongest Labor seat was Auburn's, the lower house, just to establish my base, to show the Liberal Party that I can campaign, that I can be a candidate. And we did well there, even though we didn't win that seat. So that just showed my contribution and my abilities. So that's when that gave me opportunity to get pre-selected for the position I'm running now. It's now in a Lessons Council for Liberal Party. So here I am.
here you are representing us in the community. So yeah, we'll now move on to our sixth question. Aidan.
Yeah. If there was one political idol who influenced you the most, who would hold that mantle?
In leadership, you want Liberal Party or you just want
Just anyone, just
anyone?
Yeah, really anyone.
Well, two people I mentioned in my maiden speech was Martin Luther King.
yeah.
Yep. So you listen to his speech, I think you understand why. But also one quote which keep in mind in my head all the time is John F. Kennedy. It's basically basically what you can do for your country, not what you can do for what the country can do for you, is what you can do for your country. It's always been in my head prior to politics. So being the police and army reserves, it's basically what you can do for your country, not what your country can do for you. It's always in my head. So I think those two really sort of assisted me in relation to how I should approach politics in many ways.
Is there anyone actually from Australia as well that you see as a
Oh,
political
Australia,
idol?
yes. When I because we in Australia prior to me joining and run as a Liberal Party member, Malcolm Fraser was the Prime Minister actually opened the floodgate for Vietnamese refugees to Australia. People don't understand that it's a Liberal Party. So in many ways, Vietnamese communities who came in a boat, they will remember this and they know this. Those who come after, not sure. I think it's been washed. It must be misleading in a way. But as Malcolm Fraser was actually open up and let the Vietnamese come to Australia. Before that, we weren't allowed to come. We were allowed to come to Australia. So that's one. I think all Vietnamese who come by boat look up to Malcolm Fraser. But the other person who I sort of respect in many ways, it's not a Prime Minister anyway, but since it's his approach to politics, his honesties, and I think the way this perception come across to me is honesties and straightforward statement. Like it's Dr. John Houston.
John Houston.
He tried to put the GST in, and I tried to explain it. I think that cost him a bit. Listen to
that whole interview with Mike Willisey.
Yes, that cost him a bit. Listen to him, but you understand where he's coming from. You actually understand. He's being honest, being frank, and wasn't hiding anything. So that's something odd in many ways to a politician to do. But he's trying to do that, and people don't recognise it. They recognise, what's for me, not for the community. But that's what he needs to do. Politics need to be honest to the people, and I think that resonates to me. Honesty is important. It can be straightforward to the communities and to who the people you represent. So, in that time, I wasn't part of politics. I just looked at that, and I think, from a politician, right, the honesty of a politician came through from me through that interview. Whether how he sold the products or the GST coming across, maybe didn't come across to people in many way, but the honesty of a politician, try to present his policies, I think they resonate for me. Listen to his honesty as a person and as a politician. That's rare.
And if you say to me that you want to hire a church hall, you're the local association of LBGTs, whatever the hell the words are, whatever it is, but you want to do that. No, I have no idea what it is. I seriously have no idea what it is, and I'm not going to spend any time finding out either, because you'll have probably changed it between now and then.
Hello, Speaker, my old friend. I've come to talk with you again. It's a story of some downs and ups, of the Eagles and their Premiership Cup, of a year which finished with our share of the GST for our Treasury. That's been their year in Parliament. The legislation program's grand. Plastic bags have now been banned. We've now got sewerage bollards out the front, looking like an opposition stunt. Members keep giving speeches, that no one understands.
Welcome back after a little ad break, little short break between the Zooms. We're back here now with Trung again for our last question. So finally, what's one piece of advice you'd give to students in 2024, especially those who are entering university or high school?
Yeah, I think those who are entering university, I think you got the message. Education is the key for your opportunity. What you're doing is in universities, you're investing in your own future. So I think when you decide to go to university, I think you pretty much got the idea. It is your future you're investing in. So no matter what course or what path you take, that education is the key for your opportunity to choose what you want to do later on. You might not sure what course you do. It doesn't matter because life changes and as it progress. So my advice to you is continue what you're doing, and tomorrow might bring a different path. And by being there, you have the opportunity to choose to continue what you're doing or go another course or another path. So that what is important opportunity, but also it builds a platform for you, whatever path you choose to go on down the path. I did engineering, civil engineering, and I chose to gave me opportunity to the police. I did forensics from that time, investigation, and it also gave me opportunity in the army. It gave me opportunity to do counselling now in peace. So what you learn, it will build your platform of information, knowledge, and a choice. That's what opportunity is, freedom. So that's why we're here. That's why such countries, democratic, so like education changed life, people say, and it does really does. So my advice is continue education, continue investing in your own future. And those entering high school, year 7, take this on board, but also if you're not sure what's happening, you understand the questions, you understand the topics, whatever, ask. My advice for those in high school is ask. Hands up, ask. In university, you got the tool, you got the knowledge to do your own research, continue to find your path. In high school, you're not sure, the teacher there for you to assist you on your journey to choose into education. So you're not sure, don't panic, just ask. That's what the teachers there are for, to assist you, to guide you. So those are two lessons to everyone, but that's my advice for both high school and university.
Yeah, and especially as well, talking about there with your civil engineering degree, like you didn't really follow down that path as well, going into post-grad work. So I think an important thing as well is what you study at university, you don't necessarily have to always follow that down and have that as your career full time until you retire. Like there's so many more opportunities nowadays, especially with, fee-free TAFE and that sort of thing. Like you can change your career very, very easily.
Correct. Yep. It's just education changes your opportunities. So give you more freedom to choose. So don't think it's a waste of time. It's not. You're investing in your own future. Yeah. You know when to decide when to start working. You know, you opportunity arises, and that's when everybody's had. When you got opportunity to choose, that's when you are being successful. People say we're successful. Successful it's not a bag of money or a bit of wealth. It's your happiness and your opportunity to choose the path in your life, how you want your life to be. That's success. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, so those are all our questions for you, Trung. Thank you again for giving us the time and having an interview with us. It's a shame we couldn't have a sit-down interview with you yesterday, but I guess Zoom is the next best option. So hopefully one day we might come back to Parliament and see you there, because I think Renee and Heath, Nick McGowan and Joe McCracken were inviting us back even next year if we wanted to. So hopefully we see you again in Parliament. And thank you again for giving us the time to interview you.
Thank you. Thanks for the forward interview. Yes, please come back. We'll have to have your guys go back up the interview. I mean, at the Parliament. Well, yeah. Thanks very much for the interview, guys.
Thank you, Trung. Thank you.
All the best for your future.